Okay, you put in a lot of work. I will remind you to record audio, especially because we're very close to doing an entire season.
Yeah, we're definitely recording audio. We're definitely recording thoughts. It's definitely Tuesday, May 12th, 2026 on the Tuesday Cinema Club. You say we're almost to a full season, Sticky Fish. It's season 6, episode 9. I've been accused of rigging the wheel. I've been accused of being a jitterbug. And most importantly, I've been accused of being called government name. It is I, the host, welcoming really what is going to be a very special episode that brings out Rampage. Not just from the inside of our minds when we listen to the things that Demi Moore has to say, but also when it comes to the nostalgia that brings us back to the first quarters we put into the machines. As always, we're here to talk about cinema and AI, and to do that, I thought I'd start off with a little quote from Demi Moore.
Wow, that's a big question. I think the reality is that to resist, I always feel that againstness breeds againstness. AI is here, and so to fight it is to, in a sense, to fight something that is a battle that we will lose. So to find ways in which we can work with it, I think is a more valuable path to take.
We need to watch it again. I'll give a little more context, and I'd love to hear from our hosts and guests. That was Demi Moore talking about the inevitability. It's a warning she delivered at this year's con. It was on the 12th of May. Actually, this like fresh. It's from today. Somehow I lost everyone. There, we're back. They're back. I can see you all again. She says that like basically the industry has to work with it. It being AI. So I want to open up the floor to Sticky Fish, Burno, and most importantly our guest Brian Colin. What do you think Demi's saying here today?
Run them out, right? She's saying run the data centers out. I mean, you can't turn them back, but you can still protest and run them out of town,
I think she's sitting there with a discount Jensen. I know he's discount because he doesn't have the alligator leather.
Yeah, that's not really the.
That's not really Jensen.
What is
It's
that woman between Jensen and Demi Moore?
She's
looking at
translating.
her like,
She's translating. She's translating.
Oh.
She's a translator. So they really did get a discount Jensen. They said, "Oh, listen, we'll get a discount Jensen." He only knows Taiwanese.
He doesn't even have the name card here. I mean, we're looking at some content right now. I can't. I'll cut over to the floor.
All you get is Skarsgård and Demi Moore. Who's like?
But who is he? We don't know. We don't know.
Which Skarsgård is it? That's the thing I'd want to know.
Well, you could kind of figure it out. It's not William. I think that's a William.
Like a
That's
Bill?
a William.
Yeah, it's Bill.
I mean, we could look it up. She was out there promoting something for her. She was at Cannes for some reason. Hold on.
Con? Can or con?
Cannes. It's Cannes. Con. I don't.
Con. It's con.
Yeah.
It's con.
Thank you so much. And, you know, that's so rude. I haven't even really introduced our guest for this evening. They call him General Chaos. They call him the grandfather of all Rampage. They call him Brian Colin, and he's an honor to be on our show today. We could not be more excited to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm delighted to be here. I had to go with con because that is if we're talking about the film-related festival, that con. I only know that because I wanted to be a filmmaker. I made dozens of films in high school, went to college for film, and then I fell backwards into video games. And boy, I tell you, it's been a strange, wonderful ride. AI. Now, if we're going to talk about AI, because you got to understand, I've been making video games for 44 years. So to me, AI is the artificial intelligence that is the characters you're fighting against in the game, and how they can beat you, how they can let you come back. That's the artificial intelligence that I understand. And when we're talking about the AI of today, I stay as far away from it as I can. So I'm going to be riding on the fringes of this conversation, I think.
Super valid. It sounds like you are maybe on the polar opposite of Demi here, who's saying you can't fight it, and you're over here saying, why fight it? I've been doing my whole career without it. Well, who's telling me to use it now? I mean,
that's okay.
Yeah,
my whole career I've been working with AI, but it's not the AI that's shaping us. My AI was shaping the characters in my games. So I think of AI now pretty much the way everybody else does. I don't want to see a data center ever again, and I don't care that they're building these things so that somebody can create stuff without any effort, without any work, because creativity is growing. Creativity is creation. It's something from within us that drives us to do something, and letting something else do it is the antithesis of creativity. Creativity is life. Creativity is giving life to something. So when we're talking about AI of today, it's totally different from the AI of 1982 when I started on my earliest video games. So I don't know if I'm going to say anything valuable tonight, but I'll be able to talk circles around this, and I probably won't even know what I'm saying most of the time.
you sound just like me, except you probably have more better input. I don't have the years of experience. I don't have the breadth of knowledge, and I think one of the ways that you talk about AI is actually fundamental and missing from the conversation today, because I think your relationship and how you've crafted AI and view the player and its interaction is something that I think is very fascinating when I relate it back to the user and, for example, a ChatGPT. When we were first talking, you said, one of the goals of AI was to elicit some sort of emotion, frustration, success from these players using AI. And I think about these users using the same kind of feedback pattern when they go and chat to a chatbot. What do you think, Sticky, Burno?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we talk about a lot here is we talk about what's the difference between generative AI and other types of tools that people use in cinema. So I think one of the things that modern AI, the question that people always ask is, how is this going to make money? Whereas I think a lot of people using AI of the past or tools of the past, it was, how can we use this tool to create something? And I think on the artist level, there's still a possibility to do both. I think modern AI has the ability to allow an artist to do something that wasn't, they wouldn't be able to any other way. But from a studio level or like a huge industry level, no one gets the feeling that Blender or Maya or something like that, some editing software or sound editing, whatever. All those were tools for creators, and they're just said we created this tool to help creators, and I just don't get that same feeling of we created this model to help users. We created this model to help artists. It's just not the same vibe. I think the vibe check is way
absolutely. No, and the AI I speak of in my relative youth of going back 4 decades, AI was something we were creating, and when I say we, I'm talking about the team. But basically, when we're creating something that is to entertain a player, and we're talking all the way back to the arcade days, when AI was just what it stood for, artificial intelligence, and it was a way that we could make them think that the little character they're playing against, or the army that they're fighting against, or the cars that they're racing against, appeared to be controlled by an intelligent thing, and it was obviously much more simple, much more rudimentary, and in many cases it was a lot of really delightful ideas that, as a creative challenge for a designer, a game designer, was how can I make them think that this is smart? How can I make this little car that's trying to force them off the road? I can make it just go whoop, bang and knock them off, but I wanted to make it speed up, slow down, slow up closely, pull up sideways, make it feel like there's an intelligence in there, and that was AI. And general chaos, virtually. I'm fighting an army against other little characters. I'm controlling my guys on the screen. On the other side, though, we had to come up with, okay, what is going to make the player feel that these aren't just going to run up to me and automatically shoot at me, because we knew that if we wanted to kick the player's ass every time, we could. But what fun is that for anybody? We had to make these people sometimes take the shot for the basket, and it might be random going in, and that certain randomness is fine, but randomness is not.
Randomness is not intelligence.
Right, and even though randomness is more real, perhaps in some ways, when a player is kicking butt in the game against his little brother, AI is even saying, okay, this guy's winning this game so much, the player he's playing against is getting creamed. Hey, a big secret, I cheat for the loser. Why? And that basket's going to go in, the ball's going to go in. We keep, programmer Jeff Newman that Arch rivals with, for example. No, we got to cheat for that loser, because big brother wins all the time, he's going to get tired of the game. Little brother loses all the time, he's going to get tired of the game. But if that ball goes in, once somebody's getting creamed, if we can balance the game out, we've made the game more exciting for the guy who is winning. We've made the game more exciting for the guy who is losing. Now, we're not going to cheat so much that we're going to make one guy win or the other, but I kind of strayed from my eye.
No, I think there's so much input that,
But the feeling is, you got to keep everybody engaged, and that way, both of them are going to want to play again.
Brother.
I'm sorry.
No, brother. Let me bring it back to what Sticky said and to what you said, because I couldn't agree more, and I want to hear what Burno thinks about this. Because
So let me go here real quick.
yeah,
So I like what you said, because you said you were making AI to engage, like for the player to engage with. But it's interesting to me, because when you think about it now, it's almost like AI is being created to engage, like mold the person now, right? Like now it's all just become a marketing thing. Drive people, like they're using me for a search engine, drive the advertisers and the thing, and like don't respond too negatively, be fluff with them and whatever. So it's kind of interesting to me, because like when you said that, I was like, it is almost like it's the flip of it. Like they're just trying to mold the AI to mold people, as opposed to making something that people get engaged.
Instead of trying to bring people in, they're trying, and a lot of it is about pushing people out, pushing the creators out, pushing the user out of it. Hey, I want to write this story about my puppy. Oh look, it's done for me. Well, what it did was push the user, in this case, not a player anymore, but the user, out of the experience that is the best part of creation. The best part of creation is seeing the creative challenge, resolving it in whatever way you can. That's what's kept. Ideas are the easy part. I've worked on over 90 games since 1982. Ideas the easy part. The tricky part is, what do you got to do to make it real? And that's the creative challenge, and that's the thing that I love. I mean, I honestly, I have fun with making people laugh. I have fun creating the characters. I have fun working with everybody in the team. But that creative challenge and what you've got to do to solve the problem is being eliminated by today's AI. And it's taking the human aspect right out of it. They can fake it, except for the obvious stupid things that everybody can still spot. But those aren't going to last for very long. It can fake it, but it's taking us out. Whereas back in the day, we were trying to bring you in.
And it's like Sticky said about the vibe check. It doesn't pass it, right? The open source tools created, like in RenderMan, like all these people worked at Pixar. They wanted the specific skill to better animate the movies. They built these tools so they could animate the movie. The input was from the tool maker, was from the person who used the tools. You talked about how when we were sitting as a team, Brian, building these AIs, we wanted it to accomplish these things, right? And Burno, you talk about how now, instead of it being something where a team is working with the user or the tool maker to accomplish it, it's now building a net to mold that user into the tool. And the tool has solely become like, this is the thing that's so negative. It's like they could train us to be anything. Like we could literally be Shaolin monks. They could train us to like, but what are they molding us into? It's just so weird that like they've taken this route to mold us, because it's such a like there's this is where I feel like it's a form of warfare. This is like the major entropy that I think is really kind of the thing that they like have pacified a lot of people with these feeds. They call them content, but it's not content. And these algorithms that are called AI are really just like these superficial kind of molding chambers that they are inescapable, right? Like we haven't had lights flash like this ever before. Everyone's gonna get hypnotized by it. It's like you've never had them in this combo this quick. No one's gotten out of the spell.
Well, and again, I don't use in any way, shape, or form. It is still at the point where I can recognize when an article's been written by it just by the structure of the structure and the length of paragraphs and the way it writes what it writes. I don't read it. I don't use it to create anything. Everything I still push my pixels. My animators still create the models. We do not use AI in any way, shape, or form, except the AI that, like I say, that I use, that I know, which is our artificial intelligence to bring the player in, to make the player laugh, to let the player believe that he's fighting against another general with, you know, the player's got to believe that the AI, the artificial intelligence on the other side of the screen, figuratively and sometimes literally, is human, and that humanity is measured in a video game by the fact that
you heard him say it.
Do what I can do.
You heard him say it.
Do what I.
You said you could recognize whether or not something was AI or not. That triggered Slopper Hot. Game favorite here. I'm sharing my screen. Got an upcoming still from Terminator 7. This isn't actually from Chris, though. Chris was a person we interviewed earlier here with Jake Gyllenhaal. When the future learns to survive, humanity becomes the target again. Terminator 7 2026. Slopper Hot, what do you think? Brian started off.
Sorry?
We play a game Slopper Hot here, and slop would imply it's AI, and hot would imply this is from like a legitimate source, like this is a studio announcement of something called Terminator 7. We usually start off with an easy one. So, do you think this is AI or not? Is this AI slop, or do you think this is the real deal? Little game we play.
Okay, well, because...
yeah, pop those bad boys on to get a closer look here, because it gets tricky. We got Jake Gyllenhaal here with Arnold back in the screen. You think AI or not?
Couldn't tell you.
All right, moving on.
Couldn't tell you. Yeah, this is a game I'm going to fail miserably.
How about this?
So,
Mark Zuckerberg shared this playlist today. Real or fake?
I have no idea.
All right. You could take a pause on this one. You could take a pause on this one. We'll come back to you. I'm going to play with my co-host for a second, and then we're going to talk about Rampage.
I don't follow. I do not do social media. My life has been 40 years of on the computer creating something new every day.
Let me.
I don't even understand social media. I don't look at ads for stuff. I mean, I'm just. When I say I don't use AI, I mean I don't use it to create anything. I avoid. I mean, the only thing I really know is AI is when it's an incredibly beautiful woman and she's looking at me like she's in love with me. I'm pretty sure that's, if it's not my wife and I can't touch her, I'm pretty sure it's AI.
Yeah, sure.
That's about the extent of it.
Speaking of things you've made on computers, I got a quote here from someone. You wouldn't know it. It's on social media, but it's on archive.org. It's a good social media. And it says, "The game stands out in any arcade when I see it. It's one of Midway's early classic. Stands head and shoulders, if not stories, above so much janky quarter munchers that I've seen. One of the best multiplayer options of the time, if not the best." And that game they are talking about, of course, is from here, 1986 ROM rip from Bally Midway, hosted on archive.org. No offense to you. I hope you're okay that I found this and we're playing it. I'll mail you a quarter.
No offense, that's my baby. I had to fight to get that thing done.
Yeah, you got a woman with boobs on the cover, bro. That must have been a hard one. Who's your favorite? Who do you guys play as?
The wolf, dude. You gotta play as a werewolf.
Wolf, yeah.
Ralph.
Okay. That's George, Lizzie, and Ralph. George was the ape, Lizzie was the lizard, Ralph was the wolf. I wanted to do a game with background animation, and the hardware couldn't do it. And I fighting with some of the myself, another animator, Sharon Perry, Jim Belt, one of the marketing guys, and Mikey Bartlow, who did the sounds for this, great sound guy. We were after a trade show, and I said, some of our competitors can do background animation. I want to do bigger characters. Brian, we can't do it. We can't do it. You know what this hardware can do. You can't do animation. They're rectangles that can't move. Foreground things are high resolution. You can move them wherever you want. Background can't move. But can't we? No. But can't we? No. Finally, Brian, you can move a rectangle. What are you going to do with a moving rectangle? So I thought about it for a second. I looked at Sharon and I said, okay, a building is a rectangle. A building collapsing into itself is a moving rectangle. What knocks down big buildings but huge monsters? We all flipped. I ran and got Jeff Nauman, programmer I'd worked with on a couple previous games. I said, look, they say we haven't been able to do this, but I know we can fake this scrolling in a small area. Can we do this? He thought about it. We can do it. We loved it. We went to my boss. I wrote it up. I said, this is the psychology of Rampage, or why this is next year's #1 game. And he said, no. So I went to over his head, went to the head of engineering. I said, okay. And the head of engineering loved it. He laughed his butt off. He's like, this is hysterical. I said, so we can do this? He says, no. The top 3 guys will never go for it. Because you got to remember, back in those early arcade days, arcades were kind of, communities didn't even want an arcade coming into their neighborhoods because it would bring in bad element. George, by the way, was me, that little photograph there. Of the human that turned into George. The little photograph of Lizzie was my wife, and the photograph for Ralph was the programmer, Jeff Nauman.
Oh, fun.
And so anyway, our top 3 guys, no. Jeff and I started on it anyway. I just wanted to prove that we could do what even the hardware guys said we couldn't do. And by pure accident, the top 3 guys were fired by Bally 3 weeks later. And the new guy that came in sent around a memo, said, don't worry, everybody's job is safe. This is just an upper management change. And, everybody's job is safe. I'm starting next Monday. I've got an open door policy. You can guess who was sitting outside the new president's door with his back up against his door when he started on the following Monday. I pitched in the game, he said yes, and it went on to break every earnings record of the day. Rampage became the highest earning video game of its day.
What
and it was
made
the
you
world's
know?
first 3-player too.
What made you know, right? What was like something when you were working on it that like what made you stand outside that door? Because surely it was a risk, right? You saw that Bally was doing some change.
No, it was no risk. It was no risk. Look, game design, peer-to-peer, when you keep ego out of it, at those early Bally Midway days, management left us alone. There wasn't much middle management. We basically could look at each other and say, are we going to do this? Who's going to stop us? But because we were all focused on what the player needed, what we needed to do for the operator who is buying the game for $4-5 who wanted players off in 30 seconds, and players who wanted to live forever for their quarter, our job was to make both of them happy. So we all thought about everything from every angle, and sometimes it was combative, but as long as everybody's focused on the bigger picture, what the player needs, sometimes you all get to that point where you're all looking at it from different ways, and you all go, oh, this is it. And that's the way Rampage was. Like I say, from that very first meeting, there was never any doubt in any of the development group that this was not going to be next year's #1 game. And that's why I wrote it up that way.
There you go, walking away off the screen.
It's interesting that you say that, because I think back about playing like all the different iterations, because I played it on PlayStation and even in arcade, like many different variants. And it's like, I don't like, even if I wasn't doing good, it was still fun because you just wanted to smash the buildings, right? Like, so like, well, it's not like if you're losing, you're not like, oh man, I'm losing. It's like, I just want to smash the buildings and have fun. And it's like,
well, and the beauty of it was, I was not a skillful video game player. I was old enough when I fell into video games. I worked on Discitron and Spy Hunter and Cosmic Cruiser, but I wasn't a very skillful player. So with Rampage, I wanted 3 people because I wanted to break that rule. Nobody'd ever done that before. And I wanted to make a game that there was no wrong way to play it. So if you just wanted to smash buildings, have a ball. If you wanted to fight with the guy next to you, you could. If you wanted to cooperate, you could. And if you wanted to dig a little deeper, because some people did, you could go for the high score, or you could say, I'm punching that window open, there's a guy in a bathtub, I'm going to eat him. But if you punch again just to punch, you're going to get a face full of toilet water, and knock you off the building. And all those little surprises, and there were hundreds of them, made it so you could play that game a dozen times, time after time, and never see the same thing twice. Everything was a new surprise. Because for me, as a non-skillful player, my way of making sure I was going to get that next quarter was to make you laugh. When you died, you turned into a little naked human. You got to remember that.
Yeah. This game's like pretty horny coded, like respectfully so, right? There's the woman in the red dress. There's lots of stuff, right? It's like, it definitely is like unique in that way. It's got beer. It's got that kind of stuff. It's a man's game. It's got that kind of stuff. Like, look, this guy, there you are. You're naked on the screen walking away right now.
There you are. And because, you know why we did that? Again, like I say, balance, because we knew the operator wanted money, the kids want to play forever, but we needed you to put in the next quarter. So we made you a naked guy you're laughing at, so you're not pissed at the game that you died, or a naked girl that you're laughing at. And we let you keep your score if you got that next quarter in fast enough. That didn't really translate to the home games. Nobody understood that. But kids in the arcade, and that's when this mattered, were digging into their pockets as fast as they can to get a quarter so they could keep their score and continue. Meanwhile, the other players who you may or may not know, because 2-player games were usually a lot of times friends, but 3 players, that 3rd player you might not, all of a sudden he's yelling, Joe's naked, eat him! And then the guy's got to dig even faster for the quarter. And that's one of the reasons it made so much money and was so popular with both fans and players, as well as the operators, who that game made money for decades. I mean, even anybody that didn't see it when it came out in like 1986 saw it 10 years later in the bowling alley, in the roller rink, in the in their Pizza Hut. That game stuck around forever, making money, when other games that would peak out would fall away after 3 months or 4 months. I'm rambling again, and I told you guys,
Brother,
please stop me when I do this.
we invited you on the show, and the dynamics of your game. Like, I played World Tour, I played lots of things.
We did World Tour 10 years later, and we were able to do a whole lot more in that.
So,
you could go to hell and eat Hitler in World Tour.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
I think one of the things that I really think is really interesting, and you see it across every type of art form, things that take very unique advantages or things that are limitations of the medium always produce something that are the lasting kind of classics, right? You're talking about, it was a hardware limitation that you had to have a moving rectangle. That's all you could have. And that, informed your design philosophy. And you see that
absolutely.
a lot. You see
absolutely.
It's so interesting that you take something that's a limitation, right, and then you use it as like a core mechanic or a core strength of whatever it is you're making, and you see that across a lot of different genre, different media. People who are limited about what kind of special effects they can use on a movie, or budget concerns or hardware limitations in making games. And I think that struggle, that limitation, always breeds creativity.
You summed that up perfectly. I always bring that up because for me, it's the creative challenge that sparks a creative person. I mean, and again, another reason AI is useless as far as I'm concerned. When I get a client that comes to me and says, I want to do this game and I've got this license and I want you to do anything, you can do anything. It's like, that doesn't help me. Give me a box to push against. Tell me I got to know what your hardware can do. I got to know what your audience is. I got to know what your budget is. I got to know what your time frame is. All of those create a box that says, okay, I can't do more than this. Then my eyes light up. Then I get inspired and go, I can figure out a way to get around this or this or this, whether it's time or budget or the limitations of the hardware. That I think for a creative person in any field, whether it's filmmaking or comic books or whatever it is, especially in entertainment field, I believe for a lot of us, that limitation, as you just so well put it, limitation is inspiration. It gives you something to push against and go, I can do more than this. And you said it very well. So I'll stop saying it again.
I really appreciate where this conversation's going. I want to maybe take like a bigger picture here and kind of just talk about, we were looking up and, we put movies on a wheel where we spin the wheel and decide what film we're going to watch. And this season's Alien season. And I do think that looking up the plot of the film Rampage, which I've never seen, it does actually probably qualify as a film with an extraterrestrial. So we're probably going to put that onto the film. I wanted to talk to you about like how that licensing went, how involved you were with that. And, I kind of looked up and saw that like listed online that, Bally Midway kind of took all the IP on that. Do you have any look back and past and say coulda, woulda, shoulda? How did that play out for you, if you don't mind me talking about that? I'm just curious, what is your vantage on that?
Okay, I need a little more clarification there. Are we talking about the IP itself and what my involvement is with that, or what my involvement was with the movie? Or both?
So, you're literally the character model for the original, some of the original one, and your wife is a character model, right? You're in the original games, right? You were part of the original founding of the code, also the concept of the game, right? But I don't know, take me back to the 86, 82, while that was being developed. How did that play out? How did you... And then I'm just curious what your feedback is to maybe other creators in these spaces when it comes to intellectual property and that kind of thing.
Okay. I was a filmmaker, like you said. I'd made a lot of films in college. Did an animated film that won a lot of international awards. I saw an ad for Bally, and I had my own little ad agency, but I was mainly working for beer and pretzels and out of college. And I saw an ad from Bally Midway saying they wanted an animator. And I thought, what would a pinball company want with an animator? So I went in and they said, no, we've seen your animated film. We want you to do animation for video games. And I thought, really? Pac-Man? You actually need somebody to do that? But I took the job because they were actually paying money. And I really didn't want it. I was kind of bummed. I choked up when I said yes on the phone. I thought, that's it. Childhood's over. I've got a real job. And I was so wrong. From day one, it was nothing like a real job, and childhood has never been over. It was a wonderful, really peer-to-peer, we're all in this together kind of creative time, but I was an employee. Nobody was a designer back when I first started. You're a programmer, you're an artist, you're a sound guy, you're a mechanical engineer. Nobody was a designer, but we all came together. We made games like Discipline and Spy Hunter and several others before I did Rampage. And it was the game I did right before Rampage where management actually called me a designer when they were talking to Nolan Bushnell one day and taking around the office, which I think was a mistake, but I went out and changed my business cards the very next day. But I was just an employee. So although I did many games for Bally Midway, when Bally Midway got bought out by their biggest competitor, Williams Electronics, Spy Hunter, that's one of my now I didn't design Spy Hunter, I did animation only on that and some game design elements, but that was like the second game I ever did. Sorry, that's on the screen right now. I'm assuming everybody can see that.
Yeah.
I was an employee. What I got was my salary. I got to put food on my table. I got to do a job that I loved every day. And I worked for Bally and then Bally Midway Williams for a grand total of about 10 years. And then I was invited to create my own company by Electronic Arts. They wanted me to come work for them. And I didn't want to move to California, and remote wasn't a thing back then. So they said, what if we give you the money to just start your own company? I'm like, what? Are you kidding? So I started my own company, but I continued to do games for Bally, for Midway now. They were just called Midway. That's when I did Rampage World Tour. Jeff Nauman was my partner then at the new company. And I continued to make games for every conceivable kind of game type, whether it's casino games or PC games or console games or social media games, advert games. But in almost all of those, I would always give the client or potential client the choice. You can pay me this little smaller amount and I keep the rights, or you pay me the bigger amount and you get the rights. So I really don't have the rights to any of my games, not any, to most of my games, because they were nice enough to pay me more.
Interesting.
So with games like Rampage,
was that even an option at the time when you made Rampage? It didn't sound like that was even an option.
Oh no, I made the first two. I turned down making the third one because they asked me to make a third one.
No, I'm sorry about the rights for Rampage. At the time, it sounded like
I was an employee. No,
exactly.
No. No employees got the rights to anything. No company would do that.
No.
If you were an independent that came to them, my job was to make games for them. That's what I got paid for. I didn't get paid to. Now at other companies that I won't mention which ones, the designers were known for making a game, quitting, and then having the companies hire them back and then renegotiate. I never did anything like that. I was a good game designer, but I'll never call myself a great businessman, at least not in those early days. I was happy getting paid. I was happy doing what I was doing. My games were among the most popular of the day, and still are to people that remember them in their original form. My games were all ported to home systems. I loved it, and to this day I still love it. I know I don't have any bad feelings about the way I approach this. I didn't need Warner Brothers paying me to come get involved with Rampage the movie.
Sure.
It'd be nice if they wanted to. I wouldn't turn it down, but I sure wasn't going to I've never regretted not owning the rights. I see Major Snafu on the screen right now.
Yeah, you're saying it wasn't a major snafu that they got the rights. And speaking of major snafus, we got there's a RTS that you're working on right now that I wanted to give a little bit of time to promote. Hopefully we can get it up to over 500 followers here sooner than later. I know you're launching this soon. I'll scroll through here. But I just want to thank you for coming on the show and give you a moment here to talk about this project that you're working on right now.
Okay, real quickly then, as I mentioned, Electronic Arts gave us the money to start our own company. We went out to EA and pitched them a game called General Chaos, which was one of their #1 original titles for the Sega Genesis in the year it came out. It was very popular. Fans fell in love with it. It was the world's first and funniest real-time strategy battle game. You fought with a small squad against another squad, and unlike battle games or real-time strategy games where you're set up for hours, General Chaos, you were fighting within minutes, and it was battle after battle after battle. A lot of comedy, a lot of everything about it was for laughs. I've always wanted to do the sequel. Started it about 10 years ago, started working on it, and we promoted it as a crowdfunder. And I was going out to see Kumal and Emily at the Indoor Kids out in LA on my very first podcast. And I'm getting on the plane and the doctor tells me I have cancer.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that.
And it all turned out good for me health-wise, but it did screw things up for a while. I didn't get to do my podcast tour. The funding didn't go through because basically I was tied up for the next 6 months. Yeah, that's General Chaos on screen, the old one right there. And so kind of got over that. Got 5 years later, got the company back into where we're in a good place. It's time. We're going to release General Chaos 2 now. We're going to do this. And I announced it the week before COVID was announced.
No, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
This is
So
tragic.
Timing is everything. So this time with Major Snafu, which is the General Chaos sequel, we didn't announce it. We just started on it. We're still working remotely. We've got 75% of it done, 10,000 or more frame assets for just the character animations alone. New characters, more weapons, more ridiculous. I can't even begin to say everything that's in it, but we're doing a crowdfunder now because we've been working remotely. It's taken longer because half of my team is veterans that have been doing this for as long as I have, and the other half of the team are young, up and coming kids that are doing tremendous stuff that blows me away. But we all have to work remotely, and that is no way to finish a game. So I'm doing Major Snafu, the Kickstarter, to get everybody into one office, and we'll get the game done in the next 6 months. So that's the funding we're looking for. The Kickstarter's going live here in the next 5 to 7 days, fingers crossed. And it's out. You can see it on Steam right now too, and you can see screenshots and all kinds of great stuff. I'm really looking forward to getting this game done. And also, because it was a comic game, we wanted to do more this year. Because it was a comic game, we wanted to do more this year with it. So we're doing, we've got Tim Kitzrow, Isaac Wells, Tom Perry, comedic voice actors coming in to do the voices of General Chaos, General Havoc, Major Snafu, Major Fubar. We are going, if you don't follow all orders in this game, you're going to die laughing one way or the other. So, all right, that's the end of my blurb on General Chaos, Major Snafu. I hope you guys will check it out and support it.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember to wishlist it on Steam. Also, feel free to kickstart it. It's going live this month of May. Brian, your insights into the last 30 plus years of game development, how you focused on the big brother, the little brother, and the user experience in general is something that I wish was more present in the designers in the AI field today. We believe that AI is cinema, and you talk about yourself as a successful filmmaker who's transferred to video games. We talk about video games as cinema as well. I really do appreciate you taking the time to come on today. We didn't really get too much time to play Slop or Hot. I'm just gonna fast scroll it through. These are all real Zuck posts. I think this is a real Jackie Chan post. I think that's a real Kwaka Abdo post. I think this is a real DJ Khaled post. I think this is fake. This looks fake to me. Yeah, extra fake. Oh, but I did like this because I hadn't seen the popcorn skeleton thing before. I thought that was like a good...
That's pretty cool.
This is fake. Let's see. What do you guys think the 10 industries are that are not going to... Facts or fairy tales? Traditional car dealerships are going to be gone. That's because electrical vehicles don't need car dealerships. They can be sold by the... Right. Yeah, the AI is just going to drive up. They're going to be like prostitute cars driving up. Hey, baby, you want to drive a new Tesla? Like trying to sell themselves. Is this all just number 2 cable television? Chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's gone.
So why are all these?
Oh no, not the podcast.
No, dude.
Oh, did you see that thing I posted where like 500,000 podcasts were created in like the last 10 days or something? And they said like at least 40%.
That's the doctor's work, bro.
University degrees, online education, AI's over. AI's gonna replace AI. Okay, this I could not tell if it was real or fake. I saw a bunch of this, and I'm just like, I think it's fake, to be honest, is how I really feel.
Is this like a Beats advertisement with the Prometheus guy?
Yeah, they said this was like a launch party for this, and I'm just like, did Beats really make this like
Ohio, Beats Ohio?
That's Puerto Rico, but yeah, no worries.
Is it?
I think so, because it's New York. Queens, New York. And that's where I'm like, this design's too ahead of its time for this. And I just think I would have seen this image before. So I think this is AI, is how I genuinely feel. But this one I might be wrong about. This was a crazy Stallone ad.
This is really Stallone.
He is really Stallone. I was getting a lot of this submarine content. This shit was crazy. This like AI submarine aquarium tank things.
I need one of those.
I mean, this is real.
I don't know.
We know it's real because you're able to see the sub without the surface.
No shot, dude. The wireless doesn't work underwater.
Not through that tech.
What the hell?
I like this one. This crazy, like, we've built a giant green tube and we're exploding in it, and he just keeps running. This clip. Oh,
I mean, Congo was very tube coated. Lots of running in tubes.
Yeah, that was a good tube run.
It loves tubes.
I like this fan theory. I don't know. I assume this was just like bad Photoshop, but they were saying that these kids are just the clones of Hammond for some reason. I just stopped reading after that sentence.
And you know they're making a new Westworld movie.
This guy Bruce needs to be investigated, bro. Whatever this video game
that's
that guy.
Pragmata.
Yeah.
Megan and
Yeah. DJ Khaled on set. Sorry, we just got like 2 or 3 more minutes of this. Okay, this was really funny. Let me find this content again. This was like an example of a good use of AI. This woman posted a photo of their partner sleeping at a couch, and then they were like, Photoshop it, and all the people like used AI to Photoshop it. Well, like some of it's like not Photoshop, right? You see, like that's Photoshop, right? But there were some really good ones here. I was laughing. Let me find the good ones. There was one where they fixed the chair. Yeah, I like the one where they fixed the chair. They used AI to fix the chair, which was a good... The chair looks so rough. Water slide. I just think it was an example of like how like Photoshop's gonna be gone in 10 years.
Yeah, just AI.
It'll just be like, why wouldn't you AI this? Where's that camera going in the second shot? It's just like flying away from...
Look at the dude's thumb on the boom mic. It was massive.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's freakish. Oh, I really like this. This isn't even Iran. This is just California accident assistance. Lego should sue them, right? Like Lego should sue this company because they've.
Yeah, Gavin is exposing himself here.
It's just crazy.
Maybe
It's like
Legoland,
it's
Carlsbad, you know, like.
It's not just Iran who does these commercials. Yeah, here's another one. All these like the thing is that's a different one than
Balto.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Listen up.
Working on how to pay you as little as they can get away with. First, they want you looking at their number before you ever find out what you're
Burno's gonna find a new insurance.
Yeah.
Finally.
Okay, so if you haven't read it, I always recommend this book. And how I got to the book was kind of a funny way. But the book is Stand on Zanzibar, and they talk about, and this is a book that like won a Nova back in the 70s. They talk about the women of the future all wear chrome on their nails. And I wasn't sure if this was AI or not. I don't think it was. I think it's like kind of, it's like kind of some crazy fetish.
I don't even have nails, and I want these.
But this is like, it's crazy because there's this book that I've read, I love, and in it, and it was written in the 70s, they talk about the future women are going to wear these like chrome-plated nails like this, and I was just like, what? And I definitely don't think Vain Saint is even aware of this like kind of obscure Nova book. This one was really funny.
What's this? Your food. No. I just
I saw this.
Now it's here.
This one is good.
This is just really good. AI.
I mean, would you not be confused if that was happening in your McDonald's line? You'd be very upset.
Oh, did anyone watch this? This is
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't have one of those numbers.
Sorry. Okay, no worries, sir. If you're not yet a member of
Remember how there was like a big
no
thing
worries,
in
because
like
I can make you a
morning
member
DJ
later.
radio,
Feel free
you
to
know,
have the
like
discount.
yeah, but it was with
It'd
like
be
a
like a
set
soundboard.
soundboard. This is just
all.
all.
it's so interesting how it's the same gag, but
It's better now.
you can just get it. Yeah, you can just get to
I'll
say
take the
anything you
damn
want.
discount. Give me a second here.
It's just
Give
like
me a second here.
it's just because like no one's in control, like no one's on the
It'll
soundboard
just be a moment.
Yeah.
I gotta dig it out of my wallet.
Yes, sir, that's fine. Take your time. I am very much willing to wait here.
I mean, we're not gonna watch all of it. You get the gist. I also like this. I didn't think this was AI content, but I did like it.
I'd put a bean on the roof.
You got some beans on top of your truck.
Your truck. You have a can of beans on top of your truck.
Top of your truck.
Top of your truck. There's a can
What?
on your.
There's a can of beans on top of your truck.
Oh, the water.
You have a can of beans on the top.
You guys think that's AI?
I don't know. I want to do that now, though, dude. Take a can and bush beans and
I mean,
like, suction
that's just
temperature
society coming together.
Here, now
Tell you
this is
about
something
it.
This posted. This looks way sicker, bro. This is,
He's
Oh,
working
this
on
looks
it.
really
Good job.
good, dude.
yeah, this is Blender.
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, shout out Chris. This is crazy.
I'm kidding. Check out the backdrop. I'm shooting a movie for Netflix called One Attempt Remaining that you can see when it comes out. I'm also on the road.
Like, think about this. So if like the AI is so good at just like dubbing this in, why wouldn't John Cena have like some slave cameo person who does all this? Like, why would you do it? Like, who are like if they're already watching this content?
Yeah.
Why you know?
I know that like a lot of influencers, YouTubers, and stuff, like or Twitch streamers, will find the most watched like clipping channels, you know, that people are just re-uploading, and instead of doing a copyright takedown, they just split the revenue. They just usually write a contract, and because it's just promotion, right? And like, they don't have to run. Like, why waste your time clipping all your own clips and doing all that when a guy will do it for you and you just split the revenue? Yeah, like, why does John Cena want to waste his time doing cameos when he can just split the revenue with an AI agent?
I just saw this article about how there's this whole thing about clips. Like, these people do like, it's this whole industry of like Romanian kids who get hired by these content creators to just make there's just, I don't know, I'll find the links later and post them on the Discord for those. Okay, so we got the Subwheel, we got They Live, Pixels Battleship, Life Force, Night Beast, Thing, Stargate, Poodle Skirt, anything else you want on?
Stargate has to be removed.
Stargate is removed. It's not checked. Things
Okay.
not checked. D9's not checked because it won. We put Rampage on there. And you know, one thing I appreciated when I dug deep into the Rampage game wiki earlier is when they flagged that the actual it's not Godzilla, man. It's based on something totally. It's not Godzilla.
It's the Ymir. I was a filmmaker.
20 million miles.
20 million miles to Earth. The Ymir. Y-M-I-R. Godzilla towered over buildings. I needed something that could climb up the sides, and I was a Ray Harryhausen fan. King Kong. I mean, Mighty Joe Young. 20 million miles to Earth. Ray Harryhausen was a guy who, again, pushed the envelope on stop motion animation back in the day. So as an animator and a filmmaker, he was my hero. So Lizzie was the Ymir. In fact, one of the magazines wrote an article about Rampage when it first came out, said, Rampage is great. It's like Godzilla meets the Three Stooges. And I'm like, you can't say that. We're going to get sued by Godzilla. And he's like, we're a magazine. We can say whatever we want. You can't say that. But no, there he is. That's the Ymir right there.
That's the Ymir right there, he says.
The Ymir, yes.
I read somewhere that they destroyed one of the libraries. Did one of the libraries burn? Digital library. He's like, use this one. No, sorry, this one's directed at Sticky. He said, use this one. Invest in this one. It's the good one. And then that's gone now, huh?
For 3 years. Sorry you were late.
What? I think he's talking to someone else.
I said I used it for 3 years. It was good. Sorry you were late to the party.
Yeah, TFTI. Anything else on the wheel? We see got a poo stew here, poodle skirt here. I see nothing. I think we're keeping it high and tight today, as they say. I'll go ahead and spin this wheel on Season 6, Episode 9. Let us know that you could always just give them the rights and get paid more and make more and feel happy. Be happy. Be a happy person. Like Major Chaos, Brian Colin. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Let's see what we're watching tonight, guys.
This has been fun.
This wheel is rigged.
It's rigged.
They always accuse me of rigging the wheel. They say, he rigs it, it's rigged. It's not rigged.
Check the code, man.
Why is he moving the window?
I was moving it to center it.
It moved it.
Oh, it's almost.
The wheel itself isn't rigged so
It's gonna
much
be
as
they.
rigged.
Another
yeah.
poo stew. Another poo stew
Yeah.
win. Another poo stew win, man.
This guy
Let's
is
have
back to
season
back.
6 Fun to Fire Sub Blue.
Classic. Such a good movie.
They kind of look like
Put on that.
Ymirs. They
Put on
kinda,
some sunglasses. Let's go.
yeah, everyone put on sunglasses. We're watching They Live. They kind of look like Ymirs in They Live.
They're pretty close, actually.
Yeah. I'll be Ymiring you all later. Look in the Ymir, and if you don't see AI, expect it coming. Alright. Much love to anyone who found this audio file on the virtual web.